Hey y'all. So if you haven't been to the channel before, my name is Zillan. I make Twitch and YouTube content for Ashes of Creation. I've done so for about the last 4 years, and I was lucky enough to be in that very first wave of invites, the first 1,000 people who got invited into the pre-alpha 2 testing, which means I've been testing Ashes of Creation for about 2.5 to 3 months now. It's something like that. And I want to tell you guys all about the nodes in Alpha 2, what the nodes currently do, what they don't do yet, and what you guys can expect from the node system in Alpha 2. So, in my opinion, the node system is the second best thing about Alpha 2 behind the combat. If you haven't seen my combat video already, go check it out. It's really, really good. It explains how the combat looks in Ashes of Creation, which I think it is the best thing going for the game right now. However, node's a second, and it's not that far off of a second as well. I mean, it's up there. It's pretty high. So right now, obviously, nodes can level. They can go from a stage 0 to a stage 3. Whenever we all come out into the world on the first day on October 25th, all the nodes will be stage 0. There will be no nodes to go become a citizen of. As the nodes level up, you can see the visual changes. It starts out as just a few tents and a couple of guys, and then if there's a little kind of a maybe 50 tents or 25 tents or something like that, and some more guys, and maybe I think there's a crafting station that shows up and a couple other little things, and then when you get to stage 3, it's a full-on village with walls and everything, and then of course there's going to be 3 more stages that we don't have access to at the start of Alpha 2. So they level up just like normal. And once they are leveled to 3, so 1 and 2 is they're kind of like stopgaps. I believe you get access to the banking system at stage 2, and I know at stage 1 the guild, I forget what he's called, the guild manager, I think it might be, is there, and guilds can start becoming to be formed once there is a stage 1 node somewhere on the map. But once you get to stage 3, this is when things start to get very interesting in terms of nodes and what all nodes can do. So the very first thing is, immediately as soon as a node hits level 3, the mayoral election basically starts. It's an hour long. 1 hour, which means there is a huge advantage to being online and having your group of people online when a node hits stage 3, because you have a possibility of becoming the mayor, simply because there's not a full 24 hours of voting. The reasoning for that, by the way, just so you guys know, is how would you feel if the node was level 3 but it couldn't do anything? The node couldn't take any action for 24 whole hours. So I think that Intrepid has found a kind of a middle ground there, where the first election is an hour, and then after that, every 30 days, when there's a new election, it'll be a 24-hour election, I assume. But I'm pretty sure that's how that's going to work. But yes, the first election is 1 hour. So you can elect a mayor to your node, and that will happen within the first hour. And then the mayor can put up mayoral commissions, so he can put out their commissions for what he thinks that their node needs. As you know, he can put out a commission for oak logs or basalt or whatever. And also, I think there's also commissions that relate to killing things, but I'm not sure about that. Then the mayor can start enacting certain policies. The mayor can also change the tax rate, and I think you can take the tax rate up really high. I can't remember what the max is. It might be 90% or something like that. You can make the tax rate absurdly high, if I remember correctly. But what is most important about the nodes, what is the coolest thing about the nodes, as far as what we all kind of expected and wanted out of nodes, I believe at stage 3, there are 3 plots, maybe 4. I'd have to go back and look. It's either 3 or 4, but I think it's 3. 3 plots on the node where specialized buildings can be built. And the mayor can choose those buildings, start them. A construction foreman shows up at that plot. You can walk up to him and talk to him, as in any citizen of the node can walk up to him and talk to him and find out what he needs in order to finish that building. And then you can go out into the world, collect those things, and bring it back and deliver it to him. So the entire node works together to build up the buildings. And then once you're done, there's a new building there, and now the node has new capabilities. Now this is the crucial thing here. there are way more than 3 options for buildings to build. Matter of fact, there's like, I want to say there's like 30. The last time I looked, there's a bunch of options for buildings to build, which means that your node is going to be specialized for kind of a specific thing that it does. And each node is going to have its specialization. And let's just say that no node, for whatever reason, chooses to get all the stuff you need in order to make the best armor smithing, whatever you want to call it. There may just not be a place on the map on your server where the highest level plate mill stuff can be made. Sorry. Which I think is really wild. It's going to make every server be even in Alpha 2, even in this phase 1 of Alpha 2, when we're all just getting in, and really the first couple of months is about server stability and performance and stuff, not really about the fun and all that stuff. Even in that stage, you're still going to have the servers be wildly different from one another based on the decision that the node's mayors make. You have to be level 10 to be a citizen of a node. And right now, because I don't think there's any housing of any kind right now, you do not have to be a landowner or a house owner to become a citizen. You just, once you're level 10, you walk up and say, I want to be a citizen, and they say, congratulations, you're a citizen. Once you're a citizen, you have access to the mayoral commissions there at the on the node. There are a few buildings on the node. There's like a temple that's already on the node, and I can't remember all of them, but there are several buildings that are on the node that don't really seem to do very much. As far as I can tell, you can't even walk into them yet. I'm sure those things, as we get further in, they'll come online and there'll be more that you do with them. But there are already some buildings that are like native to the node, including the caravansary, which is where you go to launch out your caravans, which is present at every node at either stage 2 or stage 3, but I think it's stage 3. And then including the warehouse. And the warehouse is going to be very, very important for all of us. Once you become a citizen of a node, you can go start putting stuff in the warehouse of that node. And the way it works, it's kind of strange. You have, it's almost like the game's bag system, which I'm going to be doing a video very shortly on gathering and questing, and I'll explain the bag system in that video. But it's almost like the game's bag system in that you have to kind of choose what you want to be storing as far as the types of materials. So you have 2 bank slots to start off with, or two warehouses, and you can choose mining and logging, or mining and herbalism, or whatever, and that's where you keep everything related to mining in your mining bag or your mining warehouse inside of the broader warehouse, and then you have the ability to buy more warehouse space as you get the money to be able to afford it. Also on every node is every crafting station, so you'll be able to gather, process, and craft for everything. Takes a little bit of time to figure out where everything is. I've got it memorized now because I've been playing for a while now, but they're all in one central little location. If you get very far away from that little location where all the crafting stations are, when you're in a stage 3 node, you've gone too far. They're all in that little tight area, so keep that in mind as you go. And I'll release a video later on explaining where everything is in case anybody is really confused where to find things. There's a vendor there that will have access to different types of gathering bags, some equipment, but not all. And then he also has a materials tab where he sells some of the stuff that you have to buy in order to do crafting, like beeswax, seeds, and stuff like that. That you don't go out into the world and gather. You just buy from the vendor. So. And that is pretty much how the nodes work right now. I will give you guys one other thing. The idea that the world around the node levels up with the node does seem to be working, at least in some degree. Right now, or at least in the Alpha 2 testing that we've been doing, there are, in many cases, around the nodes, there are just big clumps of different types of mobs, a bunch of wolves here, a bunch of animated armors here, a bunch of ravens here, and you can just go pull those out and kill them as you want to. But the level of those things seems to go up as the node goes up. Also, and this is probably the coolest thing, about all the nodes, there is one point of interest that I know for a fact changes based on the node's level, and that is the Oakenbane Keep. When Miraleth is a stage 1, stage 2, or stage 0 node, Oakenbane Keep is kind of like a old rundown fort with a few goblins scattered inside of it. It's whatever. But when Miraleth hits stage 3, it's like the goblins organize, and that place is filled with lots of goblins, high level goblins, bosses, 2 and 3 star guys. You know, like it turns it into kind of a mini dungeon, or what do they call them? Pocket dungeons. It kind of turns it into a pocket dungeon, but only when Mirror is stage 3. I can't confirm that any other POIs in the game do that because I haven't seen it personally. But I can confirm that at least that one does that. So we do have that working. The whole concept of the nodes leveling and de-leveling, changing the world, is a thing already this early in the Alpha 2, which is very, very cool to see. So once you guys get in there, there are 5 nodes. I know you guys probably have already seen the map. There's New Ayla, there's Jova, there's Halcyon, there's Miraleth, and there's Winstead. And Miraleth and Winstead are equidistant from Carfen and are the most developed nodes. They have the most stuff in the area, the zone of influence of the nodes, so they'll probably be the most populated and the most popular nodes. However, those other nodes exist. They're out there, and you can go become maybe you have an easier chance of becoming a mayor if you're not the leader of a big, massive guild if you go to New Ayla instead of Winstead or Miraleth. So keep that in mind, guys, as you guys get out there and explore here in just a couple days. We're almost there. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you want more information about this pre-Alpha 2 testing. I have 3 more videos I intend to put out before Alpha 2 starts, leveling and questing, crafting and gathering, and then a final thoughts. This is what you should expect when you get into Alpha 2. And that video will be coming out here soon enough. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys real soon in the next one.